Have you ever felt like all your years of hard work, dedication, and sacrifice have gone unnoticed? Do you feel overlooked, unappreciated, or undervalued by those closest to you, despite the countless ways you've supported and uplifted them? Or perhaps you find yourself caught in the exhausting cycle of constantly trying to please others, even as you grow older. If this resonates with you, then today's discussion is just for you. At Golden Sage Wisdom, we believe the key to happiness, especially in your later years, lies not in seeking recognition or external validation, but in letting go of the pressure to meet others' expectations and instead embracing your authentic self. This journey isn't always easy, but it's transformative. In this video, we'll dive deep into the emotional challenges that often come with aging. From the sting of feeling unappreciated to the emotional toll of people-pleasing, we'll explore powerful insights and practical ways to reclaim your peace. You'll learn how to shift your mindset, prioritize your happiness, set healthy boundaries, and live more authentically. By the end of this video, you'll have the tools to build deeper, more genuine connections with those who truly matter and discover the unparalleled joy of living on your own terms. So, if you're ready to embrace a more fulfilling and meaningful life, stick around. And if you're new here, don't forget to subscribe to Golden Sage Wisdom and turn on notifications so you never miss our content. Your support helps us continue spreading these valuable lessons. Now, let's get started. 1. Envy and jealousy. Envy and jealousy, two emotions that can creep into even the strongest relationships, often arise not because of what you've done, but because of the personal struggles and insecurities of those around you. These feelings can be especially challenging when they come from people you care about deeply, like family members or close friends. The sting of their resentment may feel personal, but here's the truth. It rarely has anything to do with you. When others see your stability, whether financial, emotional, or relational, it can highlight areas in their lives where they feel unsettled or unfulfilled. Your financial security, built over years of discipline, sacrifice, and hard work, may unintentionally remind someone of their own financial challenges, or perhaps your long-lasting, happy relationships become a quiet mirror reflecting someone else's heartbreak or failed connections. Even your inner confidence, the quiet strength you've cultivated after overcoming life's challenges, can trigger feelings of vulnerability or inadequacy in others. Their jealousy is not a judgment of your worth. It is a reflection of their inner battles. However, it's still painful. It hurts when those who should be your greatest supporters seem uncomfortable with your success. But as you've grown wiser with time, you've likely learned an invaluable lesson. You are not responsible for managing others' discomfort. It is not your duty to dim your light so others can feel more at ease. Doing so would dishonor your journey, your sacrifices, and the strength you've worked so hard to build. Instead, approach such situations with compassion and understanding, but also with firmness. Acknowledge their feelings without allowing their negativity to erode your self-worth. This doesn't mean tolerating bad behavior or disrespect. It means standing firm in your truth and living authentically, unapologetically. Your life, your achievements, and your happiness are not things to be minimized, hidden, or apologized for. Surround yourself with people who celebrate your victories and find joy in your success. These are the individuals who view your accomplishments not as competition, but as inspiration. They see your story as a beacon of possibility, not a reminder of their shortcomings. When you make space for such relationships, the sting of envy fades, and you can focus on nurturing the connections that truly enrich your life. In the end, let your life be a reflection of the grace, strength, and resilience you've embodied over the years. No matter how others perceive you, your light is worth celebrating. Honor your journey unapologetically and protect the peace and dignity you've worked so hard to achieve. 2. Misunderstandings and ineffective communication. As we age, one of the most unexpected challenges we face is the growing disconnect in how we communicate with others, particularly with younger generations. These misunderstandings can feel deeply personal, but they often stem from differences in upbringing, cultural shifts, and evolving social norms, not malice or intentional disregard. For many of us, the world we grew up in valued directness and clarity. Saying what you meant and being honest was seen as the ultimate form of care and respect. Yet today, that same straightforwardness can be perceived as harsh or out of touch. What you intend as helpful advice may be interpreted as criticism or judgment, creating tension that neither party truly desires. Imagine this. You offer a heartfelt suggestion drawing from decades of life experience, only to be met with stiffened body language, narrowed eyes, or even silence. It's a painful moment, one where your intentions feel misjudged and your wisdom, earned through years of trials, is dismissed. You may wonder, how did something so well-meaning go so wrong? The truth is, these misunderstandings are rarely about the words alone. They arise from how those words are delivered and received. A quick, offhand remark, born from concern or even fatigue, can be misread as judgment. Over time, these small cracks in communication can widen, leading to emotional distance and strained relationships. Conversations that once flowed freely may now feel awkward, strained, or even avoided altogether. But here's the silver lining. These misunderstandings don't have to define your relationships. They can be an opportunity to build deeper connections, if approached with empathy and patience. Instead of reacting defensively or pulling away, consider shifting your focus to truly listening. When you sense a conversation is veering into tension, pause and ask open-ended questions. A simple, "Tell me more about how you see it," can open doors to understanding and connection. It shows that you care about their perspective, even if it differs from your own. If your words are misinterpreted, take a moment to clarify with kindness. A gentle, "That's not quite what I meant, let me explain," can go a long way in diffusing tension and bridging gaps. At the same time, don't hesitate to share how you feel when misunderstandings arise. Expressing vulnerability, "I feel hurt when my advice isn't taken the way I intend it," can foster mutual understanding and pave the way for more open dialogue. Most importantly, remember that communication isn't about winning or being right. It's about connection. Conversations should feel like a shared journey toward understanding, not a battle to prove a point. While generational differences will always exist, choosing to approach these moments with empathy, curiosity, and an open heart can transform misunderstandings into opportunities for growth. Even if the gaps in values and communication feel wide, the willingness to meet halfway, through love, patience, and understanding, can create bridges stronger than words alone. 3. Differences in values and core beliefs. As we grow older, our values and core beliefs become deeply rooted in our identity, shaped by decades of experiences, triumphs, and challenges. These beliefs, whether they center on family, work ethic, faith, or societal norms, are not just abstract ideas, but the framework through which we navigate life. They are a testament to who we are and what we stand for. However, in today's rapidly evolving world, it's no secret that younger generations often see things very differently. Their values, shaped by a different time and context, may feel alien to us, creating a disconnect that can sometimes feel like a chasm. This divide can be challenging, especially when those differences touch on fundamental aspects of our lives. For example, you may hold dear the values of discipline and responsibility, qualities you've relied on throughout your life to build stability and achieve success. Yet younger generations, growing up in a world that prioritizes innovation, flexibility, and individual expression, may view those values as rigid or outdated. What you see as essential building blocks of a meaningful life might be dismissed as unnecessary or restrictive. These differences aren't limited to work ethic. They extend to personal beliefs about marriage, parenting, and societal roles. Perhaps you believe in the sanctity of certain traditions or the importance of family roles that have guided your life. To younger people, those same beliefs might feel irrelevant, even constraining. This disconnect can leave you feeling dismissed or misunderstood, as though your hard-earned wisdom is being undervalued. And let's be honest, facing this kind of resistance is not easy. It can feel like a personal affront when the lessons you've lived and the values you hold are questioned. But here's an important truth. Just as your beliefs were shaped by your unique journey, theirs have been shaped by theirs. Neither perspective is inherently wrong. They're simply reflections of different experiences. The key lies in bridging these divides with curiosity rather than judgment. Instead of seeing these differences as a challenge, approach them as an opportunity to understand. Ask questions like, why do they see things this way? Or, what experiences have shaped their views? You don't have to agree, but showing genuine interest creates space for dialogue rather than conflict. One powerful way to connect across generations is by sharing your stories, those deeply personal experiences that shaped your beliefs. A story about working hard to provide for your family, overcoming adversity, or staying true to your values in difficult times carries a depth that can't be conveyed through arguments alone. These stories invite younger people into your world, helping them understand the why behind your perspective. And here's the thing, not every difference needs to be resolved. Some beliefs are so deeply ingrained that they may never align, and that's okay. What matters is finding common ground, whether it's a shared love for family, a commitment to kindness, or a mutual desire to make the world a better place. These connections, however simple, can transcend even the widest divides. By embracing openness and respect, you honor your values while allowing others to do the same. This approach doesn't diminish your beliefs. It strengthens them by showing that they can coexist alongside others. Instead of building walls, you create bridges, spaces where understanding and growth can flourish. In the end, the greatest legacy we can leave is one of respect and empathy. These qualities transcend generations, reminding us that while our values may differ, our shared humanity is what truly connects us. When we honor both our unique journeys and the common threads that bind us, we create relationships built on mutual respect and understanding, relationships that enrich not only our lives, but those of the generations that follow. The influence of gossip and rumors in close circles. As we age, we often find ourselves navigating a delicate balance within our social circles, whether it's within a neighborhood, a community group, or even among extended family. Unfortunately, one of the most painful dynamics that can emerge in these spaces is the influence of gossip and rumors. These idle whispers, often fueled by insecurity or boredom, have the power to erode trust and strain relationships, leaving a profound emotional impact. Gossip and rumors rarely contain the whole truth. Instead, they're distorted narratives, twisted and reshaped as they pass from person to person. What's more disheartening is that those we hold dear, people we've shared memories, laughter, and even hardships with, are sometimes the very ones who perpetuate these stories. They repeat hearsay as though it were fact, and with every retelling, the line between fiction and reality blurs. Consider how easily this happens. A comment taken out of context, a misinterpreted decision, or even envy over something as simple as how you've chosen to live your life. These fragments of truth are embellished to create drama, turning the mundane into fodder for conversation. Sadly, it's often the people closest to us who engage in this behavior, leaving us feeling betrayed and hurt. One of the harshest realities about gossip is that it often stems from the insecurities of others. When people feel stagnant or unfulfilled, they may turn to gossip as a way to feel relevant or important. Spreading stories about others gives them a fleeting sense of power or control, even if it's at the expense of someone else's reputation. And as unfair as it may seem, sometimes you become the target of these stories, not because of anything you've done wrong, but because of what you represent. In our later years, the targets of gossip may shift to aspects of our lives that feel deeply personal: our health, finances, or relationships. Perhaps people speculate about how you're managing your retirement, or they make unfounded assumptions about the decisions you've made for your family. These rumors, though seemingly small, can have a significant emotional toll, making you question the very relationships you've nurtured over the years. What's even more painful is the way gossip changes how others see you. Those who once treated you with kindness and respect may begin to pull away, influenced by the false narratives they've heard. Their actions no longer reflect who you are, but rather the distorted version of you that gossip has created. This shift can leave you feeling alienated and misunderstood, further deepening the wounds caused by these toxic whispers. So how do we confront gossip and its damaging effects? The first and most important step is to remain grounded in who you are. Your authenticity, integrity, and character are your greatest defenses against falsehoods. No matter how loud the rumors become, they can't change the truth of your story. Hold on to that truth, even when others try to distort it. Equally important is deciding when and how to respond. Reacting with anger or defensiveness only adds fuel to the fire. Instead, when confronted with gossip, approach it with calm and clarity. A simple, composed statement like, "I heard this is being said about me, but it's not true," can be enough to dispel the lies without escalating the situation. However, not every rumor deserves your time or energy. Sometimes, silence is the most powerful response, protecting your peace and refusing to give gossip the attention it seeks. Above all, focus your energy on nurturing relationships that truly matter. The people who genuinely know and care for you will see through the lies. They'll value your character and the life you've built, regardless of the stories others may tell. Surround yourself with these people, the ones who lift you up, celebrate your victories, and stand by you through challenges. It's important to remember that gossip says far more about the people spreading it than it does about you. Their behavior reflects their insecurities, boredom, or need for validation, not your worth. By staying true to yourself and refusing to engage in their negativity, you send a powerful message. Your life is defined by your actions, not by the idle words of others. In the end, your character, resilience, and authenticity will always outshine the shadows of gossip. The relationships that matter most, the ones built on trust, respect, and love, will remain steadfast. Let your life be a testament to the strength of living with integrity, even in the face of whispers and rumors. 5. Personal insecurities and projection. As we age, one of the most subtle yet deeply impactful challenges we face is dealing with the insecurities of others. Often, resentment or criticism directed at us has little to do with what we've done and far more to do with their internal struggles. These insecurities, magnified by the passage of time, lead some to project their fears, doubts, and frustrations onto those around them, especially those they perceive as thriving. Imagine this. You've worked hard to maintain your health, staying active and vibrant even as the years pass. To someone struggling with chronic conditions or declining physical abilities, Your energy and vitality might feel like a painful reminder of what they've lost or fear losing. It's not uncommon for this discomfort to manifest as resentment or even veiled criticism, leaving you feeling as though you're being judged for simply taking care of yourself. The same can happen when it comes to financial stability or strong relationships. If you've built a secure and balanced life, those who are struggling financially or dealing with strained relationships may unknowingly compare themselves to you. Your accomplishments, whether it's the peace of mind that comes from financial planning or the joy of close family bonds, can serve as a mirror reflecting the gaps in their own lives. This can lead to feelings of inadequacy or frustration, emotions that are often projected outward onto you. But this projection isn't about you, it's about their inner turmoil. Aging brings its own set of fears and insecurities, about time slipping away, about missed opportunities, about physical and emotional vulnerabilities. For some, seeing someone aging gracefully while they struggle can be difficult to process. Their discomfort becomes misdirected, transforming into criticism or coldness toward you. You might notice it in offhand comments about your choices or dismissive remarks about your accomplishments. It might feel as though they're trying to diminish what you've achieved, but in reality, they're wrestling with their insecurities and projecting those feelings onto you. While it's not your responsibility to absorb their negativity, understanding the root of their behavior can help you navigate these situations with empathy and grace. Instead of taking their comments personally, consider the possibility that their reactions stem from their own struggles. Ask yourself, is this about me, or is this their fear talking? This perspective doesn't excuse their behavior, but it can help you detach emotionally, allowing you to respond with compassion rather than frustration. However, compassion doesn't mean tolerating constant negativity. There's a delicate balance between understanding someone's insecurities and protecting your emotional well-being. If their projections become a source of stress, it's okay to set boundaries. You have every right to protect your peace, especially when dealing with repeated patterns of criticism or negativity. Distancing yourself from toxic energy is not selfish, it's a necessary act of self-care. When faced with projection, remind yourself of this truth. Their feelings are not a reflection of your worth. Their discomfort, envy, or frustration does not diminish your achievements, your wisdom, or your journey. You've earned the right to take pride in who you've become and the life you've built. The strength, resilience, and joy you embody are a testament to your hard work and character. Ultimately, navigating these interactions comes down to staying grounded in your truth. You are not responsible for how others perceive you. What matters most is how you view yourself and the choices you've made. Let their words and actions roll off your shoulders, knowing that their struggles are not your burden to carry. In the end, your light is not their burden, it's yours. Embrace your achievements and live unapologetically, knowing that your journey is yours to define. By staying centered and protecting your peace, you can rise above the projections of others and continue moving forward with confidence, grace, and authenticity. 6. Lack of empathy and understanding. As we age, one of the most profound and often painful challenges we encounter is a growing lack of empathy and understanding from those around us. This is particularly true when it comes to interactions with younger generations who may struggle or outright fail to grasp the complexities of our experiences. Aging isn't just a physical process, it's an emotional and mental journey as well. Yet, these nuanced layers of our lives are often invisible to others. Imagine the weight of decades of experiences, joys, losses, triumphs, and setbacks, all shaping the person you've become. Yet those around you may reduce your identity to a stereotype, someone who's slowing down or becoming less relevant. This oversimplification strips away the richness of your story, leaving you feeling invisible. Younger people immersed in the fast-paced nature of modern life often fail to see the small yet significant adjustments you've made just to navigate your daily reality. Tasks that once seemed effortless, getting out of bed, preparing a meal, running errands, might now require careful thought and measured effort. But rather than seeing these moments as reflections of resilience and determination, they're often misunderstood as signs of weakness or inefficiency. The most heartbreaking part of this disconnect is how easily others dismiss the wisdom you've gained over the years. Family members, colleagues, or even casual acquaintances may disregard your insights, viewing them as outdated or irrelevant in today's ever-changing world. It's not malice that drives this lack of understanding, but a kind of ignorance, a failure to truly see and appreciate the depth of your experiences. For instance, your deliberate approach to decision-making, one that prioritizes reflection and wisdom, might be misinterpreted as hesitation or indecision. Your patience, born from years of navigating life's challenges, could be mistaken for complacency. And when you try to share the lessons you've learned, you may find that they're met with impatience or outright dismissal. This lack of empathy doesn't just impact day-to-day interactions, it creates emotional distance. It leaves you feeling disconnected, as though your voice no longer matters. The younger generation, busy chasing their ambitions, may not stop to think about how their words or actions affect you. And so, a painful gap begins to grow. But here's an important truth. While their lack of understanding can sting, it does not define your worth. Their inability to fully appreciate your journey doesn't diminish its significance. The life you've lived, the lessons you've learned, the strength you've shown, is valuable beyond measure, even if it goes unrecognized by others. So, how do we bridge this gap? It begins with courage. The courage to speak up, to share your experiences, and to advocate for the understanding you deserve. If someone dismisses your struggles or overlooks your contributions, consider gently explaining. I understand things may seem different from your perspective, but here's why this is important to me. By opening a dialogue, you create an opportunity for empathy. You invite others to step into your shoes, if only for a moment, to see the world as you do. And while not everyone will accept that invitation, those who do will come away with a deeper appreciation for the wisdom you bring to the table. At the same time, it's important to protect your emotional well-being. If someone continually refuses to listen or dismisses your experiences, it's okay to step back. Surround yourself with people who value you for who you are, those who are willing to see beyond the surface and connect with the person within. Your energy is precious, and it's best spent nurturing relationships that enrich your life. Empathy is a two-way street, and it often begins with modeling the behavior you wish to see in others. Show patience and understanding, even when it's not immediately reciprocated. By leading with compassion, you demonstrate the importance of seeing people for who they truly are, not just the roles they play or the pace at which they move. Ultimately, the journey of aging is about embracing the fullness of who you are. It's about honoring your story, even when others fail to recognize its depth. By staying true to yourself, setting boundaries where needed, and fostering connections with those who genuinely care, you can navigate the challenges of a lack of empathy with grace and resilience. 7. Competitiveness or rivalry. As we age, it's natural to expect the competitive nature of relationships to diminish. After all, one might assume that the wisdom and perspective gained over the years would help us focus on shared joys rather than comparisons. Yet rivalry doesn't entirely disappear, it merely evolves. Instead of open competition, it manifests in subtle, quieter ways that can linger in our social circles, families, or even among lifelong friends. Rivalry in older age often stems from unspoken comparisons, a silent tallying of successes and setbacks. It might be about who has maintained better health, who has more financial stability, or even whose relationships have stood the test of time. These unspoken contests, while less obvious than those in younger years, can still sting deeply. Take, for example, a sibling who feels overshadowed by your successes. Maybe they see your financial security as a stark contrast to their struggles. Or perhaps a lifelong friend, grappling with health issues, grows distant because your active lifestyle inadvertently highlights their limitations. Even family members can fall into this pattern with subtle remarks or behaviors rooted in envy or feelings of inadequacy. These quiet rivalries are often fueled by insecurity. When people feel like they're falling behind or that their lives haven't measured up, they may begin to view your achievements not as a source of inspiration, but as a reflection of their perceived shortcomings. Your hard-earned success, your resilience, and your happiness might unintentionally become reminders of what they feel they lack. For instance, you might notice a friend withdrawing after you share stories of your travels or accomplishments. Or a family member might make passive-aggressive comments about your lifestyle choices, subtly implying that your success came easier than theirs. These reactions aren't necessarily rooted in malice. Instead, they often come from a place of pain or fear. It's important to remember that these reactions are not about you. They're about the struggles and insecurities others are facing. This realization can help you approach these situations with understanding rather than defensiveness. However, understanding doesn't mean you need to shrink yourself or dim your light to make others more comfortable. You've worked hard to build the life you have, and you deserve to celebrate it. Your happiness, health, and accomplishments are not something to apologize for. That said, there's power in responding with humility and grace. A genuine compliment or acknowledgement of someone else's strengths can go a long way in diffusing tension. For instance, saying, "I really admire how you've managed to stay active despite the challenges you've faced," can shift the dynamic from competition to mutual respect. But what if the rivalry persists? What if someone continues to compare themselves to you or undermines your achievements? In such cases, it's essential to set boundaries. You are not responsible for managing someone else's insecurities or soothing their discomfort at your success. Protect your peace by choosing not to engage in unnecessary conflict or competition. Instead, focus on fostering relationships that are built on support and shared joy. Surround yourself with people who celebrate your victories and offer encouragement, not those who view your success as a threat. True connections are not about one-upmanship, they're about mutual respect, understanding, and shared happiness. In the end, remember that your worth is not determined by comparisons or rivalries. It's defined by the life you've built, the person you've become, and the joy you've found in your journey. You don't need to prove anything to anyone. The quiet confidence of knowing your value is more powerful than any competition. 8. The influence of social expectations. As we age, society often imposes subtle but rigid expectations on how we should think, behave, and even feel. These expectations, deeply rooted in outdated stereotypes about aging, can feel like invisible chains. They suggest that we should slow down, become less adventurous, and accept a diminished role in the world around us. But what happens when we dare to break free from these molds and live life authentically on our terms? The answer often reveals both resistance and liberation. When we choose to step outside societal norms, whether by pursuing a new passion, embracing bold opinions, or following unconventional paths, we challenge the comfort zones of those around us. Our actions can unsettle others, not because they are wrong, but because they force people to confront their own choices and fears. Imagine deciding to learn a new skill, start a fresh career venture, or adopt a lifestyle that defies traditional expectations of what someone in their later years should be doing. These choices can evoke judgment or even condescension. People might ask, "Why would you start that at your age?" Or, "Isn't it time to slow down?" These questions often mask their discomfort with seeing someone refuse to conform to the narrative of aging they've accepted for themselves. For example, pursuing a hobby like painting or learning to play an instrument might inspire admiration in some, but provoke criticism in others. Why? Because your courage to explore new passions serves as a mirror reflecting their own reluctance to step out of their comfort zones. It highlights the limitations they've imposed on themselves, making your choices seem both inspiring and, to them, unsettling. This discomfort, however, is not yours to carry. You have earned the right to live authentically and to pursue what brings you joy and fulfillment. Breaking free from societal expectations is not a rebellion. It's a declaration of self-worth. It's about recognizing that your life is yours to shape, regardless of what others think. Responding to criticism or judgment with grace is key. Rather than becoming defensive, calmly share how your choices bring meaning and happiness to your life. For instance, you might say, "I've always wanted to try this, and now I finally have the time and freedom to do so." By explaining your perspective, you invite others to see the beauty and purpose in your decisions. At the same time, it's essential to remember that you are not obligated to justify your choices to anyone. Your happiness does not need validation. Society's approval, or the lack thereof, should not dictate how you live your life. Living authentically means honoring your desires, passions, and dreams, even if they defy conventional expectations. It means embracing the freedom that comes with age and using it to create a life that aligns with your values and aspirations. When you reject the notion that aging should limit you, you inspire others to reevaluate their own beliefs about what's possible. You become a beacon of courage and authenticity, showing that life doesn't have to shrink with time. It can expand, bloom, and flourish in new and unexpected ways. 9. The lack of recognition. As we grow older, one of the most painful realities we may face is the lack of recognition for the lives we've built, the sacrifices we've made, and the love we've given. This isn't just about being overlooked in the moment. It's about feeling as though the contributions that defined our lives have faded into the background, no longer seen or appreciated. For many, this is most keenly felt in family settings. You've spent years, decades even, pouring your energy into raising children, maintaining a household, and keeping your family united. You've been the steady hand, the quiet supporter, and the one who always put others' needs above your own. Yet as time passes, it can feel as though these efforts are taken for granted. Adult children, consumed by their busy lives, may forget to express gratitude. Grandchildren, once wide-eyed with admiration, may now seem distant, visiting out of obligation rather than genuine interest. Even beyond family, the lack of recognition extends into the professional and community spheres. If you once found purpose in your career or played a significant role in your community, you might now feel sidelined, wondering if those achievements are now considered irrelevant relics of the past. This sense of invisibility can be heartbreaking, leaving you to question whether your worth has diminished simply because you are no longer in the spotlight. But here's the truth. While recognition from others is affirming, it should never define your value. The impact you've made on your family, your community, and the world is not erased simply because it isn't acknowledged. You are the keeper of your story, the guardian of your legacy. No one else can take that away from you. Still, it's natural to crave acknowledgement, especially from those closest to you. Communication becomes essential here. If you feel overlooked, don't be afraid to share your feelings. Expressing your emotions with honesty and grace can open the door to deeper connections. For instance, saying something like, "I'd love to share some stories from my life with you. They mean so much to me," can invite your loved ones into your world. Sometimes people aren't intentionally dismissive. They're simply caught up in their own lives and need a gentle reminder of the wisdom and value you bring. Equally important, though, is learning to recognize and celebrate yourself. Acknowledge your journey, your sacrifices, and your accomplishments. You are not defined by the recognition you receive from others. Your worth is intrinsic, rooted in the life you've lived and the lessons you've learned. Take pride in the strength you've shown, the challenges you've overcome, and the legacy you've created. It's also essential to surround yourself with people who do see and appreciate you for who you are. Seek out relationships that bring joy, connection, and mutual respect. These are the people who will honor your journey and uplift your spirit, ensuring that you feel seen and valued. Ultimately, the lack of recognition from others cannot diminish the profound impact you've had. Your life is a testament to resilience, love, and dedication. Celebrate yourself unapologetically and live with the knowledge that your contributions matter, whether they are acknowledged or not. Stop pleasing everyone. Embrace your true self and live authentically. As we journey through life, many of us fall into the trap of people-pleasing, a deeply ingrained habit born out of the desire to gain approval and avoid conflict. From a young age, we're often taught to put others first, to prioritize their needs, and to seek validation through their happiness. While this mindset may have served a purpose at one point, it can become an exhausting and self-sacrificing cycle, especially as we age. In our later years, this habit of pleasing everyone becomes increasingly draining. We start to realize that the constant effort to meet others' expectations has come at the expense of our own happiness. The energy we once poured into accommodating others now feels like a heavy weight, a burden we can no longer carry. The truth becomes clear. We don't need to please everyone. The only approval that truly matters is our own. This realization, while liberating, is often accompanied by feelings of guilt. After years of prioritizing others, the idea of putting ourselves first can feel uncomfortable or even selfish. But embracing self-care and setting boundaries isn't about neglecting others. It's about finding balance. It's about recognizing that your needs, desires, and well-being are just as important as anyone else's. To break free from the cycle of people-pleasing, we must first confront the fears that fuel this behavior. Often, it's the fear of rejection or the need for acceptance that keeps us tethered to the approval of others. We worry that by saying no or setting boundaries, we'll be judged, ignored, or even abandoned. But as we age, we come to understand a profound truth. The people who truly matter, the ones who love and value us, accept us for who we are, not for what we can do for them. This shift in perspective allows us to see that pleasing others isn't the foundation of meaningful relationships. In fact, it often leads to resentment as we sacrifice our own needs for the sake of others. By learning to prioritize our happiness, we can foster deeper, more authentic connections, relationships built on mutual respect and genuine care. Letting go of the need to please everyone is not without its challenges. There will always be people who push back, who try to make you feel guilty for setting boundaries or prioritizing yourself. But their discomfort is not your responsibility. It's a reflection of their expectations, not a measure of your worth. Setting boundaries is an act of self-love and self-respect, a declaration that your time, energy, and well-being are valuable. When you stop trying to please everyone, you create space to focus on what truly matters to you. You gain the freedom to pursue your passions, explore your interests, and live in alignment with your values. Whether it's taking up a hobby, reconnecting with old dreams, or simply enjoying quiet moments of self-reflection, you'll find joy in living authentically. As you embrace this new chapter, you'll notice a beautiful shift in your relationships. The people who truly care for you will support your journey toward authenticity. They'll respect your boundaries and celebrate your choices, even if they don't always understand them. These are the relationships worth nurturing, connections that bring joy, fulfillment, and a sense of belonging. In the end, the most profound gift you can give yourself in your later years is the freedom to live authentically, to prioritize your happiness without guilt, to embrace your true self unapologetically, and to let go of the need to please everyone, knowing that your worth is not defined by others' expectations, but by the life you choose to live. 11. The freedom to live authentically. As you grow older, life has a way of peeling back the layers of expectations, obligations, and societal norms that may have defined earlier years. Aging offers a profound gift, the opportunity to finally live authentically, free from the need to conform to others' standards or seek their approval. It's an invitation to reconnect with your truest self, to embrace your individuality, and to prioritize what genuinely brings you joy. Living authentically begins with a simple but powerful shift, recognizing that your worth isn't tied to external validation. Throughout life, many of us are taught to measure success by how others perceive us. We seek recognition, approval, and affirmation, often at the expense of our own desires and happiness. But as time passes, we begin to see the futility of this pursuit. The people who truly love and value us don't care about the image we project. They care about the person we are. Authenticity means letting go of the pressure to fit into molds that no longer serve you. It means allowing yourself to be fully seen, even if that means being misunderstood by some. It's about shedding the expectations placed upon you by society, family, or even your younger self, and embracing the person you've become. This might mean exploring interests you've set aside, expressing yourself more openly, or pursuing a path that others might not understand. This freedom is not just about what you do, it's about how you feel. When you live authentically, you stop worrying about what others think and start focusing on what makes your life meaningful. You give yourself permission to say no to things that don't align with your values and yes to the experiences that ignite your soul. You prioritize your well-being, knowing that you can't pour from an empty cup. The process of embracing authenticity is deeply personal, but it often begins with reflection. Take time to ask yourself, what truly matters to me? What brings me joy? What am I holding on to that no longer serves me? These questions can guide you toward a life that feels more aligned with who you are today, rather than who you were in the past, or who others expect you to be. It's also important to recognize that living authentically doesn't mean isolating yourself from others. On the contrary, it can deepen your connections. When you show up as your true self, you invite others to do the same. You create space for honesty, vulnerability, and genuine relationships, connections built on mutual respect and understanding, rather than pretense or performance. One of the greatest barriers to authenticity is fear of judgment, rejection, or failure. But as you let go of these fears, you'll discover a profound sense of freedom. You'll realize that the opinions of others hold far less power than you once thought. And you'll see that the only person you truly need to answer to is yourself. Living authentically is not about perfection, it's about embracing your humanity, the strengths, the flaws, the joys, and the struggles. It's about showing up fully, even when it's messy or uncomfortable. And it's about trusting that being true to yourself is the most powerful way to honor the life you've been given. By choosing to live authentically, you give yourself the gift of peace, a life that feels whole, meaningful, and aligned with your values. And in doing so, you inspire others to do the same. You become a living testament to the power of self-acceptance and the beauty of a life lived with intention. 12th, letting go of people-pleasing. For many of us, the habit of people-pleasing begins early in life, often as a way to gain approval, avoid conflict, or maintain harmony in our relationships. Over time, it becomes a deeply ingrained pattern, one that can feel almost impossible to break. As we age, however, we begin to see the toll it takes on our mental, emotional, and even physical well-being. Letting go of this habit becomes not just an option, but a necessity for living a more authentic and fulfilling life. People-pleasing often stems from a desire to be liked, accepted, or validated by others. It's fueled by the fear of rejection or the belief that our worth is tied to how much we can do for those around us. While it may bring short-term satisfaction or approval, it almost always leads to long-term exhaustion and resentment. The constant effort to meet everyone else's needs leaves little room for your own, and over time, this imbalance can leave you feeling drained, unappreciated, and disconnected from your true self. As you enter your later years, it becomes clear that the people who truly matter in your life are those who value you for who you are, not for what you can do for them. These are the relationships worth nurturing, the ones that are built on mutual respect, understanding, and genuine connection. Letting go of people-pleasing doesn't mean you stop caring for others. It means you learn to set boundaries, prioritize your own needs, and give from a place of abundance rather than obligation. Setting boundaries can feel uncomfortable at first, especially if you're not used to saying no. You might worry about disappointing others or being seen as selfish. But boundaries are not about pushing people away. They're about creating space for what truly matters. They allow you to protect your time, energy, and emotional well-being, ensuring that you can show up fully for the things and people that bring you joy. Start small. The next time you're asked to do something that doesn't align with your priorities, take a moment to pause before responding. Ask yourself, is this something I truly want to do? Do I have the energy and resources to give right now? If the answer is no, practice saying it kindly but firmly. For example, I'd love to help, but I'm not able to right now. Or, I appreciate you asking, but I need to focus on other commitments. As you grow more comfortable with setting boundaries, you'll likely notice a shift in your relationships. Some people may struggle to adjust, especially if they're used to you always saying yes. But over time, those who genuinely care for you will respect your choices and appreciate your honesty. And you'll find that the relationships that remain are stronger, healthier, and more fulfilling. Letting go of people-pleasing also means letting go of the need for external validation. It's about finding your worth within yourself, rather than seeking it from others. This requires self-reflection and self-compassion, taking the time to understand your own needs, desires, and values, and honoring them without guilt or shame. It's about giving yourself permission to live in a way that feels authentic and true, even if it means disappointing others along the way. When you stop trying to please everyone, you create space for what truly matters. You have more energy to invest in your passions, your relationships, and your personal growth. You begin to live with intention, choosing activities and commitments that align with your values and bring you joy. And in doing so, you inspire others to do the same. Breaking free from people-pleasing is not easy, especially if it's been a lifelong habit. But it's one of the most empowering and liberating things you can do for yourself. By prioritizing your happiness and well-being, you not only improve your own quality of life, but also set an example for others. You show them that it's possible to live authentically, to honor your needs, and to find fulfillment on your own terms. 13. Embracing self-care and authenticity. As we grow older, the need to embrace self-care and authenticity becomes not just important, but essential. In our younger years, life often feels like a whirlwind of responsibilities, obligations, and the relentless pursuit of success. We spend so much time taking care of others, children, partners, colleagues, that we often forget to take care of ourselves. By the time we reach our later years, the effects of this neglect can become all too apparent, manifesting as exhaustion, resentment, or a lingering sense of dissatisfaction. But here's the good news: it's never too late to put yourself first. Self-care isn't a luxury, it's a necessity. It's about more than just pampering yourself or taking a day off. It's about nurturing your physical, emotional, and mental well-being. It's about creating a life that feels as good on the inside as it looks on the outside. For many people, the idea of prioritizing self-care feels uncomfortable or even selfish. We're often conditioned to believe that our worth is tied to how much we can give to others. But the truth is, you can't pour from an empty cup. By taking care of yourself, you're not only improving your own quality of life, you're also better equipped to show up for the people you love. Authenticity goes hand in hand with self-care. Living authentically means aligning your actions, decisions, and priorities with your true self. It's about embracing who you are, your values, passions, and even your imperfections, and living in a way that feels genuine and true to you. When you live authentically, you free yourself from the pressure of trying to meet others' expectations or conform to societal norms. You begin to live for yourself, not for anyone else. Self-care can take many forms, and it looks different for everyone. For some, it might mean establishing a morning routine that includes meditation, journaling, or a walk in nature. For others, it might mean setting boundaries with friends or family, saying no to commitments that don't serve you, or carving out time for hobbies and passions that bring you joy. Whatever self-care looks like for you, the key is to make it a non-negotiable part of your life. Authenticity, too, is deeply personal. It starts with self-awareness, taking the time to understand who you are and what matters most to you. This might involve reflecting on your values, identifying what brings you joy, or exploring new interests that resonate with your true self. It also means letting go of the need for external validation and learning to trust your instincts. When you live authentically, you stop worrying about what others think and start focusing on what feels right for you. One of the most powerful aspects of self-care and authenticity is how they ripple outward. When you prioritize your well-being and live in alignment with your values, you inspire others to do the same. You become a role model for your children, grandchildren, friends, and community, showing them that it's possible to live a life that's both fulfilling and true. Of course, embracing self-care and authenticity isn't always easy. It requires courage, especially if you've spent much of your life putting others first or conforming to external expectations. But the rewards are immeasurable. You'll find a renewed sense of energy, purpose, and joy. You'll build deeper, more meaningful relationships with the people who truly matter. And most importantly, you'll discover what it means to truly live, not just exist. 14. Letting go of the fear of judgment. One of the most liberating shifts that comes with embracing your later years is learning to let go of the fear of judgment. For much of our lives, we're conditioned to care deeply about how others perceive us, whether it's our appearance, our achievements, or our decisions. We seek approval, often altering our behavior, preferences, and even our goals to fit into societal molds or meet the expectations of family, friends, or colleagues. But as we grow older, it becomes clear that living in fear of judgment only holds us back from truly enjoying life. The fear of judgment often stems from a desire to belong, to be accepted and respected. It's natural. Humans are social creatures after all. But this fear can also become a cage, keeping us from expressing our true selves or pursuing what genuinely makes us happy. How many times have you hesitated to try something new, wear something bold, or speak your mind because you were worried about what others might think? How often have you sacrificed your desires to avoid criticism or disapproval? As we age, we gain a unique perspective on life, a clarity that comes from years of experience. We realize that the opinions of others, while often loud and persistent, are fleeting and subjective. People will always have something to say, but their judgments are more a reflection of their insecurities and perspectives than of our worth or choices. The moment we stop letting their opinions dictate our lives, we reclaim our power. Letting go of the fear of judgment doesn't mean becoming indifferent or inconsiderate. It means recognizing that you can't control how others see you, and that their approval is not a prerequisite for your happiness. It's about choosing authenticity over conformity, courage over fear, and self-acceptance over external validation. Here's the truth: people are far less focused on you than you think. Most are preoccupied with their own lives, their own worries, and their own struggles. The harsh judgments or criticisms you fear are often brief thoughts that they quickly forget. And even when people do judge, their opinions hold no real power unless you let them. You have the choice to let their words pass by without taking them to heart. Letting go of this fear is deeply freeing. It allows you to live boldly, to make choices that align with your values and desires, and to pursue the things that bring you joy. Want to take up a new hobby, even if it feels unconventional? Do it. Want to change your style, speak your mind, or take a leap of faith into something unfamiliar? Go for it. Your life is yours to live, and it's too precious to be spent worrying about the fleeting opinions of others. Practicing self-compassion is key to overcoming the fear of judgment. Be kind to yourself when you feel insecure or uncertain. Remind yourself of your worth, independent of what anyone else thinks. Surround yourself with people who uplift and support you, who celebrate your individuality instead of trying to fit you into a mold. And most importantly, give yourself permission to make mistakes, to be imperfect, and to grow. Life isn't about perfection. It's about progress, learning, and self-discovery. In the end, the only judgment that truly matters is your own. Can you look in the mirror and say that you're living a life true to yourself? Can you find peace in the choices you've made and the path you've taken? If the answer is yes, then you're already winning. When you let go of the fear of judgment, you open the door to a life of freedom, joy, and authenticity. You stop living for others and start living for yourself. And in doing so, you inspire others to do the same, to embrace their true selves and to live unapologetically. 15. The importance of setting boundaries. As we grow older, one of the most valuable lessons we learn is the importance of setting boundaries, both for ourselves and in our relationships with others. Boundaries are not just about protecting your time or energy. They are an essential act of self-respect. They define how we allow others to treat us, and they reinforce our sense of dignity and self-worth. Many of us, especially those who have spent much of our lives taking care of others, struggle with the idea of setting boundaries. We've been conditioned to believe that saying no is selfish, or that putting ourselves first means we're neglecting those we care about. But the truth is, healthy boundaries are not a rejection of others. They are an affirmation of our own needs and priorities. Think about all the times you've said yes when you wanted to say no. How many times have you taken on more than you could handle, sacrificing your well-being to meet someone else's expectations? How often have you allowed someone to overstep just to avoid conflict or discomfort? These moments may feel small in isolation, but over time they take a toll, draining your energy, eroding your confidence, and leaving you feeling depleted. Boundaries are not walls meant to shut people out. They are bridges that create balance in relationships. They allow you to give and receive in a way that feels fair and respectful. When you set a boundary, you're not being unkind or unreasonable. You're simply communicating what you need to maintain your peace and well-being. For example, if you find yourself constantly being asked to take on responsibilities that don't align with your priorities, it's okay to say, "I appreciate you thinking of me, but I need to focus on other commitments right now." Or if someone frequently interrupts your quiet time with demands, you can kindly but firmly let them know, "I value my time to recharge, and I'd appreciate it if we could schedule a better time to talk." At first, setting boundaries can feel uncomfortable, especially if you're used to putting others' needs ahead of your own. You may worry about disappointing people or causing conflict. But here's the truth: the people who truly care about you will respect your boundaries, even if it takes them some time to adjust. Those who react poorly or try to guilt you into compliance are often the ones who benefited from your lack of boundaries in the first place. In addition to setting boundaries with others, it's equally important to establish them for yourself. This might mean setting limits on how much time you spend worrying about things outside your control, or deciding to step back from commitments that no longer align with your values. It's about recognizing that your time, energy, and mental health are precious resources and treating them as such. Stoic philosophy offers valuable wisdom on this topic. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." This principle reminds us that we are responsible for guarding our inner peace. Setting boundaries is one way to exercise this power, ensuring that we remain aligned with our values and priorities. As you grow more comfortable with setting boundaries, you'll notice a profound shift in how you approach life. You'll feel more in control, more confident, and more at peace. You'll no longer feel the need to constantly justify or explain your choices, because you'll know that they are rooted in self-respect and authenticity. The beauty of boundaries is that they empower you to live more fully, to honor your needs, and to nurture the relationships that truly matter. So, take this opportunity to reflect on the boundaries you need in your life and how you can begin to implement them today. Your well-being is worth it. 16. Living authentically in your later years. Living authentically in your later years is one of the greatest gifts you can give yourself. As we age, the societal pressures and expectations that once dictated much of our lives start to fade. This creates an opportunity to embrace who we truly are and live in a way that reflects our deepest values, desires, and truths. Authenticity means being true to yourself, free from the need to conform to the expectations of others. It's about making choices that resonate with your heart and soul, rather than seeking approval or validation from external sources. But reaching this level of self-awareness and freedom often requires us to unlearn years of conditioning. For much of our lives, we are taught to fit in, to follow certain norms, and to prioritize others' opinions over our own instincts. These habits are often deeply ingrained, making it difficult to break free. But the beauty of aging is that it gives us the clarity and courage to shed these expectations and embrace our true selves. Consider how liberating it feels to no longer care about what others think of your choices. Whether it's the way you dress, the hobbies you pursue, or the opinions you hold, living authentically means making decisions based on what feels right to you, not what others deem acceptable. For example, if you've always wanted to take up painting but worried you weren't good enough, now is the time to let go of those fears and dive in. Authenticity is about embracing your passions and interests unapologetically. However, living authentically also means facing the discomfort of being misunderstood or judged by others. Not everyone will understand your choices, and that's okay. Authenticity isn't about pleasing everyone, it's about being at peace with yourself. As the Stoic philosopher Epictetus said, "First say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do." When you live authentically, you inspire others to do the same. Your courage to embrace your truth becomes a beacon for those who may still be struggling to find their path. By showing others that it's possible to live fully and unapologetically, you create a ripple effect of empowerment and authenticity. Living authentically also brings immense joy and fulfillment. When you align your actions with your values, you experience a sense of harmony that is deeply rewarding. You stop wasting energy on things that don't matter and instead focus on what truly brings you happiness and peace. To live authentically, start by reflecting on your core values. What matters most to you? What brings you joy? What kind of life do you want to lead? Once you have clarity on these questions, take small, consistent steps to align your life with your answers. This might mean setting boundaries, pursuing a long-held dream, or simply allowing yourself to rest without guilt. Remember, living authentically is a journey, not a destination. It's a process of continuously checking in with yourself and making adjustments as needed. There will be moments of doubt and challenges along the way, but each step you take toward authenticity is a step toward a more fulfilling and meaningful life. Let your later years be a time of freedom, joy, and self-expression. Embrace your unique journey and celebrate the person you've become. You've earned the right to live authentically, and there's no better time than now to start. 17. Setting boundaries for a happier life. As we age, one of the most profound realizations is the importance of setting boundaries. Boundaries are not walls meant to shut people out. They are guidelines that help protect our peace, energy, and well-being. They allow us to prioritize our happiness while maintaining healthier, more respectful relationships. Many of us, especially those who have spent a lifetime caring for others, struggle with the concept of boundaries. We may feel guilty for saying no, or worry about disappointing those around us. However, without boundaries, we risk spreading ourselves too thin, leading to exhaustion, resentment, and a diminished sense of self. Boundaries are acts of self-respect. They show others and ourselves that our time, energy, and emotional well-being are valuable. Think of them as the lines that define where your responsibilities end and someone else's begin. Setting boundaries doesn't mean you love or care about others any less. It means you love yourself enough to protect your needs and limits. For example, if you often feel overwhelmed by requests from family members or friends, setting a boundary might look like politely but firmly declining tasks that you don't have the capacity to handle. You might say, "I'd love to help, but I need to prioritize my own well-being right now." This simple act of self-advocacy not only preserves your energy, but also teaches others to respect your limits. One of the most challenging aspects of setting boundaries is overcoming the fear of how others might react. It's natural to worry about being seen as selfish or uncaring, but the truth is that boundaries are essential for healthy relationships. When you set clear limits, you avoid resentment and ensure that your interactions with others are based on mutual respect. Consider a scenario where a loved one frequently calls you at inconvenient times, expecting you to drop everything to assist them. Without boundaries, this can lead to frustration and tension. By setting a boundary, such as letting them know you're unavailable during certain hours, you create space for yourself while still being supportive in a way that works for both of you. Boundaries also play a crucial role in protecting your emotional well-being. As you age, it's natural to become more selective about the people you allow into your life. This is not about shutting people out, but about choosing to surround yourself with those who uplift and support you. If someone consistently brings negativity or drama into your life, setting boundaries might mean limiting your interactions with them or addressing the behavior directly. The process of setting boundaries can feel uncomfortable at first, especially if you're not used to advocating for yourself. Start small by identifying one area of your life where you feel overextended or undervalued. Reflect on what you need to feel more balanced and consider how you can communicate this need to others. Practice saying no without apologizing or over-explaining. Remember, no is a complete sentence, and it's okay to use it when necessary. As you grow more confident in setting boundaries, you'll notice a shift in your relationships and overall well-being. You'll feel more empowered, less stressed, and more aligned with your values. You'll also find that the people who truly care about you will respect your boundaries and appreciate your honesty. In your later years, setting boundaries is not just a practical tool. It's a way to honor yourself and the life you've built. It's a declaration that your happiness and peace matter just as much as anyone else's. Embrace this practice as a form of self-care and self-respect, and watch how it transforms your relationships and your life. 18. Finding fulfillment through self-celebration. As we grow older, we often find ourselves reflecting on the life we've lived, the choices we've made, the relationships we've built, and the contributions we've given to our families, careers, and communities. For many, this reflection brings a mix of pride and regret, joy and sorrow. Yet one of the greatest challenges of aging is learning to celebrate yourself, not waiting for external validation, but recognizing your own worth and accomplishments. Society often places undue emphasis on external recognition. Awards, promotions, compliments, or even simple words of appreciation become the benchmarks by which we measure our value. But what happens when those accolades are no longer forthcoming? What happens when the people around us become too busy, too distracted, or too unaware to acknowledge all that we've done? Does our worth diminish because others fail to see it? The answer is a resounding no. Your value does not hinge on anyone else's opinion or acknowledgement. The life you've lived, the challenges you've overcome, and the lessons you've learned are all worthy of celebration, regardless of whether others see them. Self-celebration is not about arrogance or pride. It's about recognizing the beauty and strength within yourself and honoring the journey that has brought you to this moment. Take a moment to think about everything you've achieved. Perhaps you've raised a family, nurtured relationships, built a career, or contributed to your community in ways big and small. These are no small feats. They are the building blocks of a life well lived, and they deserve to be acknowledged, even if only by you. Self-celebration begins with gratitude. Start by appreciating the small victories in your life, the habits you've built, the skills you've mastered, and the moments of kindness you've shared. Write them down if it helps. Create a list of accomplishments, no matter how insignificant they may seem. Over time, you'll begin to see a pattern of resilience, strength, and love that defines your life. For instance, think about a time when you faced a difficult situation and found a way through it. Maybe it was a financial struggle, a health scare, or the loss of a loved one. You didn't just survive those moments, you grew stronger because of them. Celebrate that strength. Celebrate the wisdom you gained and the courage it took to keep moving forward. Another way to embrace self-celebration is by creating rituals that honor your life and achievements. This could be as simple as setting aside time each week to reflect on your accomplishments, or creating a personal space in your home that reminds you of the things you're proud of. Display photos, mementos, or quotes that inspire you and serve as a testament to your journey. It's also important to remember that self-celebration is not about perfection. Life is messy, and we all have moments we're not proud of. But even in those moments, there is growth and learning to be found. Celebrate the fact that you've made it through tough times, that you've learned from your mistakes, and that you continue to strive for a better, more fulfilling life. Letting go of the need for external validation is not always easy, especially if you've spent much of your life seeking approval from others. But the freedom that comes with self-celebration is worth the effort. When you stop waiting for others to acknowledge your worth, you take back the power to define your own value. You begin to live authentically, guided by your own sense of purpose rather than the expectations of others. And here's the beautiful part. When you celebrate yourself, you inspire others to do the same. Your self-confidence, resilience, and gratitude become a beacon of hope for those around you, showing them that fulfillment comes from within. In your later years, self-celebration is not just a practice, it's a necessity. It's a way to reclaim your identity, honor your journey, and find joy in the life you've built. So, take a deep breath, look in the mirror and say, I am proud of who I am and all that I've done, because you deserve to hear it, and you deserve to believe it. 19th, letting go of people-pleasing to embrace your true self. For much of our lives, we're conditioned to seek approval from others. As children, we're taught to listen, obey, and please those around us. As adults, we carry this conditioning into our relationships, careers, and social interactions. The need to make everyone happy, to avoid conflict, and to meet others' expectations often becomes second nature. But as we grow older, we begin to realize just how exhausting and unfulfilling this pattern can be. People-pleasing is a double-edged sword. On the one hand, it can help us build relationships and navigate social dynamics. On the other hand, it often comes at the expense of our own needs, desires, and well-being. Over time, this constant striving to meet others' expectations can lead to resentment, burnout, and a sense of losing touch with who we really are. As you reach your later years, it's time to break free from the cycle of people-pleasing and embrace the freedom of living authentically. This isn't about becoming selfish or disregarding the feelings of others. It's about finding a healthy balance between kindness and self-respect. The first step in letting go of people-pleasing is understanding why we do it in the first place. Often, it's rooted in a fear of rejection, a desire to be liked, or a need to prove our worth. These fears can be deeply ingrained, but as we age, we start to see them for what they are, unnecessary burdens that no longer serve us. Think about all the times you've said yes when you really wanted to say no. How many moments of joy have you sacrificed in order to avoid disappointing someone else? How many of your own dreams have been put on hold because you were too busy meeting the demands of others? It's not easy to break these patterns, but it's essential for your well-being. Start by practicing self-awareness. Pay attention to the moments when you feel pressured to please others. Ask yourself, am I doing this because I want to, or because I feel like I have to? This simple question can help you identify when you're acting out of obligation rather than genuine desire. Setting boundaries is another powerful way to reclaim your time, energy, and happiness. Boundaries are not walls. They're guidelines that help you protect what matters most to you. For example, if someone constantly demands your time but doesn't respect your needs, it's okay to say, I can't help you with this right now. Boundaries are not about pushing people away. They're about creating space for what truly matters. As you begin to prioritize your own happiness, you may encounter resistance from others. People who are used to you always saying yes may feel uncomfortable when you start saying no. They might accuse you of being selfish or unkind, but remember, their discomfort is not your responsibility. It's a reflection of their expectations, not a measure of your worth. Letting go of people-pleasing also means embracing your imperfections. You don't have to be perfect to be worthy of love and respect. In fact, it's your authenticity, your willingness to be yourself, flaws and all, that makes you truly lovable. When you stop trying to fit into everyone else's mold, you create space for the right people to enter your life. People who appreciate you for who you are, not for what you can do for them. Imagine the freedom of living life on your own terms. Picture yourself pursuing the hobbies, passions, and dreams that truly light you up. Envision relationships where you feel valued and respected, not because of what you give, but because of who you are. This is the life that awaits you when you let go of people-pleasing. In your later years, time becomes one of your most precious resources. Don't waste it trying to make everyone happy. Instead, use it to nurture your own happiness, to build meaningful connections, and to live authentically. By letting go of the need to please others, you open the door to a more fulfilling and joyful life. 20. Prioritize self-care and living authentically. As we age, the concept of self-care takes on a deeper and more profound meaning. It's no longer just about pampering yourself with the occasional indulgence. It becomes an essential practice for maintaining physical, emotional, and mental well-being. When you've spent much of your life prioritizing others, transitioning to a mindset of self-care can feel foreign, even selfish. But here's the truth. Prioritizing your needs is one of the most loving things you can do for yourself and those around you. Self-care is not about extravagance, it's about intention. It's about making choices that align with your values and honoring the life you've built. It's about reclaiming your time, energy, and focus to live a life that feels meaningful to you. As you age, it's vital to recognize that your time is finite and precious, and the way you choose to spend it matters. Start by asking yourself, what truly brings me joy? What makes me feel alive and connected to myself? Maybe it's taking a morning walk in nature, curling up with a good book, or pursuing a hobby that you've long put on hold. Whatever it is, make it a priority. Schedule it into your day, just as you would any other important commitment. Self-care also means listening to your body and respecting its needs. Aging comes with its challenges, aches, pains, and slower recovery times. But it's also an opportunity to deepen your relationship with yourself. Pay attention to what your body is telling you. Rest when you're tired. Nourish yourself with wholesome foods. Move in ways that feel good to you, whether that's yoga, swimming, or simply stretching. By taking care of your body, you're also caring for your mind and spirit. Another aspect of self-care is learning to say no. For many of us, saying no feels uncomfortable, especially if we've been conditioned to prioritize others. But every time you say yes to something that doesn't align with your values or needs, you're saying no to something that does. Practice setting boundaries with kindness and clarity. It's not about shutting people out, it's about making room for what truly matters. Living authentically is closely tied to self-care. It means showing up as your true self without fear of judgment or rejection. It means embracing your quirks, passions, and preferences, even if they don't fit societal expectations. Authenticity is a gift, not just to yourself, but to those around you. When you live authentically, you give others permission to do the same. Living authentically also means letting go of comparison. It's easy to look at others and feel like you're falling short, especially in a world that glorifies youth and achievement. But your journey is uniquely yours. Your worth is not defined by how you measure up to others, but by how fully you live your own life. Take a moment to reflect on the things you've accomplished, the challenges you've overcome, and the wisdom you've gained. Celebrate these things. You don't need external validation to recognize your worth. It's already within you. Finally, remember that self-care and authenticity are not one-time achievements. They're ongoing practices. They require attention, effort, and commitment. But the rewards are profound. A life that feels aligned with your values, relationships that are deep and meaningful, and a sense of peace and fulfillment that comes from living in harmony with yourself. As you embrace self-care and authenticity, you'll find that the opinions of others start to matter less. You'll feel more confident, more connected, and more at ease in your own skin, and you'll inspire those around you to do the same. 21. The power of setting boundaries. One of the most liberating realizations as you age is that you are not obligated to meet everyone's expectations. Setting boundaries is not only a form of self-care, but a declaration of your self-worth. It's about defining what you are willing to accept in your relationships, your time, and your energy, and enforcing those limits with confidence and grace. For many, the idea of setting boundaries feels daunting, especially if you've spent much of your life putting others first. You might worry about how people will react or fear that asserting yourself will strain relationships. But here's the truth. Boundaries are not about pushing people away. They're about creating healthy dynamics that respect both your needs and those of others. Consider the areas of your life where you feel stretched too thin or taken for granted. Are you constantly saying yes to requests that leave you feeling drained? Do you find yourself overcommitting, only to feel resentful later? These are clear signs that it's time to establish boundaries. Why boundaries matter? Protecting your energy. As you grow older, your energy becomes a precious resource. You simply don't have the same reserves you once did, and that's okay. Boundaries help you conserve your energy for the things and people that truly matter. By saying no to what doesn't serve you, you create space for what does. Maintaining healthy relationships. Contrary to popular belief, boundaries strengthen relationships. They foster mutual respect and clarity by communicating your needs and limits. People who genuinely care about you will appreciate your honesty and adapt to your boundaries. Preserving your authenticity. Boundaries allow you to live authentically, staying true to your values and priorities. When you honor your own needs, you're no longer sacrificing your happiness to please others. How to set boundaries with confidence. Identify your limits. Start by reflecting on what makes you feel uncomfortable or overwhelmed. Is it constant demands on your time? Unsolicited advice? Negative conversations? Understanding your triggers is the first step toward setting boundaries. Communicate clearly and kindly. When establishing a boundary, be direct but compassionate. For example, you might say, "I appreciate your input, but I need to make this decision on my own," or "I'm unable to commit to that right now, but thank you for thinking of me." Clear communication reduces misunderstandings and sets the tone for mutual respect. Stick to your boundaries. It's one thing to set a boundary, it's another to enforce it. People may test your limits, especially if they're used to you saying yes. Stay firm but respectful. Remember, it's not your job to manage their reactions. Your responsibility is to honor your needs. Start small. If setting boundaries feels overwhelming, start with smaller, manageable situations. For instance, if you're uncomfortable with late-night phone calls, set a rule that you won't answer your phone after a certain hour. Gradually, you can address bigger challenges. Let go of guilt. Guilt is one of the biggest obstacles to setting boundaries, but it's important to remember that prioritizing yourself is not selfish. It's necessary. You can't pour from an empty cup. By taking care of yourself, you're better equipped to show up for others in meaningful ways. The ripple effect of boundaries. When you set and maintain boundaries, you not only protect your well-being, but also inspire others to do the same. You become a role model for living authentically, showing that it's possible to care for others without neglecting yourself. Boundaries are not walls, they are bridges. They allow you to connect with others from a place of mutual respect and understanding. They help you cultivate relationships that are healthier, deeper, and more fulfilling. By prioritizing your own needs and setting clear boundaries, you reclaim your time, energy, and peace of mind. And in doing so, you pave the way for a life that is not just lived, but truly enjoyed. 22. The joy of authentic living. As we grow older, the weight of expectations begins to lift, revealing a profound truth. The greatest gift we can give ourselves is the freedom to live authentically. Authentic living is not about seeking perfection or conforming to societal ideals. It's about embracing who you truly are, unapologetically, and living a life that reflects your values, passions, and dreams. For many of us, the journey to authenticity begins in our later years. After decades of prioritizing others, whether in our roles as parents, professionals, or caretakers, we finally have the time and space to focus on what truly matters to us. But this shift can feel both liberating and daunting. How do we let go of old patterns and embrace a life that feels deeply aligned with our true selves? Why authenticity matters. Freedom from external validation. Living authentically means freeing yourself from the need to seek approval from others. It's about recognizing that your worth is not determined by how others perceive you, but by how true you are to yourself. Deeper self-awareness. Authentic living requires you to look inward, to understand your values, strengths, and desires. This self-awareness helps you make choices that align with who you are and what you want from life. Increased happiness and fulfillment. When you live authentically, you create a life that feels meaningful and joyful. You're no longer chasing someone else's version of success, but embracing what truly brings you happiness. How to embrace authentic living, reconnect with your passions. Ask yourself, what activities bring you joy? What dreams have you put on hold? Whether it's painting, traveling, or learning a new skill, now is the time to pursue your passions without hesitation. Release the need to please. Authentic living means letting go of the habit of people-pleasing. Instead of trying to meet everyone else's expectations, focus on what feels right for you. Remember, the people who truly care about you will support you in living your truth. Practice self-compassion. Embracing authenticity means accepting yourself, flaws and all. Be kind to yourself as you navigate this journey. Celebrate your strengths and learn from your mistakes, knowing that growth is a lifelong process. Set boundaries. Living authentically requires clear boundaries. Protect your time and energy by saying no to things that don't align with your values. This isn't selfish. It's an essential act of self-care. Surround yourself with supportive people. Seek out relationships that encourage and inspire you. Authentic living is easier when you're surrounded by people who appreciate you for who you are and who uplift you. The transformative power of authenticity. Living authentically doesn't mean your life will be free of challenges. In fact, it often requires courage to stand firm in your truth, especially when others may not understand or accept your choices. But the rewards are worth it. When you live authentically, you experience a profound sense of peace. You no longer feel the need to pretend, to conform, or to prove yourself. Instead, you can simply be. This peace radiates outward, influencing your relationships, your community, and even the way you approach life's challenges. Authenticity also invites others to do the same. When you live as your true self, you become a beacon of inspiration, showing others that it's possible to live with purpose and joy. Living authentically, a daily practice. Authentic living is not a destination but a journey. It's a daily practice of aligning your actions with your values and embracing who you are. It's about making choices that reflect your truth and finding beauty in the imperfections of life. Every day is an opportunity to live more authentically. Whether it's speaking your truth, pursuing your passions, or simply taking a moment to appreciate the life you've built, each step brings you closer to a life that feels deeply fulfilling. In the end, authenticity is about honoring the person you've become and celebrating the life you've lived. It's about letting go of the need to be perfect and embracing the joy of being real. 23. The ripple effect of authenticity. When you choose to live authentically, you may not realize it, but your decision impacts far more than just your personal happiness. Authenticity creates a ripple effect, influencing the people around you in ways that are both subtle and profound. Inspiring others through your example. Your commitment to authenticity can serve as a powerful example for others, especially younger generations. Many people feel trapped by societal expectations, afraid to live life on their terms. By embracing your true self, you show them that it's possible to break free from those constraints. Your courage to live authentically can inspire others to reevaluate their own lives and pursue what truly matters to them. Think about the people you admire most. Chances are, they're not the ones who conform to societal norms or seek constant approval. They're the ones who live boldly, who stay true to their values, and who radiate confidence and peace. By living authentically, you become that person for someone else, a role model for living with purpose and joy. Strengthening relationships. Authenticity deepens connections. When you live as your true self, you invite others to do the same. Your honesty, vulnerability, and openness create a safe space for meaningful relationships to flourish. Imagine a friendship or family bond where you can be yourself without fear of judgment. That's the power of authenticity. By being genuine, you build trust and foster relationships that are grounded in mutual respect and understanding, creating a more compassionate community. Living authentically isn't just about individual growth, it's also about contributing to the collective good. When you show up as your true self, you bring unique perspectives, talents, and ideas to your community. Your willingness to share your experiences and insights enriches the lives of those around you, creating a more compassionate and connected world. The challenge of authenticity. Of course, living authentically isn't always easy. Not everyone will understand or accept your choices. Some may feel threatened by your decision to live outside the norms or may question your motives. These reactions can be difficult to navigate, but they're also an opportunity to practice resilience and self-compassion. Remember, authenticity is not about pleasing everyone. It's about staying true to yourself. The people who truly value you will respect your choices, even if they don't fully understand them, and those who don't, they're not meant to be part of your journey, the legacy of living authentically. Perhaps the most beautiful aspect of authenticity is the legacy it creates. By living authentically, you leave behind a powerful example for others to follow. You show your children, grandchildren, friends, and community members what it means to live with integrity and purpose. Your legacy isn't just about the things you've accomplished, it's about the person you've been. When people look back on your life, they'll remember your courage, your kindness, and your unwavering commitment to being true to yourself. That's a legacy that lasts far longer than any material achievement. Embrace the ripple effect. As you continue your journey of authentic living, take a moment to reflect on the impact you're having. Every choice you make to live authentically sends ripples of inspiration, connection, and compassion into the world. Embrace that power, knowing that your decision to live as your true self is making a difference, not just for you, but for everyone around you. Follow through. Boundaries are only effective if you enforce them. If someone continues to overstep, remind them of your limits and take action if necessary. For example, if someone repeatedly interrupts your quiet time, consider limiting your availability during those hours. Dealing with pushback. Not everyone will react positively to your boundaries. Some may feel hurt, offended, or even angry. This reaction often stems from their discomfort with change rather than any wrongdoing on your part. Stay calm and reaffirm your boundaries without feeling the need to explain or justify them. For example, if a friend reacts negatively to you declining an invitation, you can respond with, "I understand you're disappointed, but this is something I need to do for myself right now." Remember, their reaction is not your responsibility. The freedom that comes with boundaries. Once you establish and maintain healthy boundaries, you'll notice a significant shift in your life. You'll feel more in control of your time and energy. You'll experience less stress and resentment. Your relationships will become healthier and more balanced. You'll have the space to focus on what truly matters to you. By prioritizing your peace, you're also teaching others how to treat you with respect, kindness, and consideration. Boundaries are a form of self-respect, and they empower you to live authentically without fear of overextending yourself. Conclusion: honoring yourself. Setting healthy boundaries is not about shutting people out. It's about honoring yourself. It's a way of saying, "I value myself enough to prioritize my well-being." While it may feel challenging at first, the rewards of living a balanced and peaceful life far outweigh the influence of social expectations. As we age, society often places invisible constraints around us, dictating how we should think, act, and even feel. These expectations, steeped in outdated notions about aging, can feel suffocating. We're told to slow down, take fewer risks, and settle into a quieter, smaller version of ourselves. But what happens when we dare to break these molds? When we pursue new passions, express bold opinions, or embrace choices that others deem unconventional? Often, this bravery sends ripples of discomfort through those around us. It's an unsettling truth that when we live authentically, by simply following our instincts and doing what brings us joy, we challenge others to confront their own fears and insecurities about aging. Those who have resigned themselves to a predictable path may feel threatened by the courage it takes to step off that well-worn road. Imagine deciding to learn a new skill, build a new relationship, or embark on a bold adventure. These choices, whether monumental or modest, may invite judgment or criticism. Comments like, "Why is she doing this at her age?" or "Isn't he too old for that?" reveal the underlying discomfort others feel when faced with your refusal to conform to societal expectations. But these judgments are not truly about you. They stem from their internal struggles. Your boldness reminds them of their own unfulfilled dreams or fears of stepping out of their comfort zones. The weight of these expectations, however, is not yours to carry. You have earned the right to live authentically, to pursue what fills your soul with joy and meaning. This isn't indulgence, it's an essential part of truly living. To deny yourself these joys is to rob your later years of the fulfillment they can bring. You deserve to chart your own path, one that reflects your desires and values, not someone else's script. When faced with judgment, you might be tempted to withdraw or defend your choices. Instead, consider responding with grace. Share your experiences and the joy these choices bring to your life. Let others see that embracing your passions isn't about rebellion, but about finding fulfillment. Show them that living authentically isn't a rejection of the past, but a celebration of the life you've earned. As we age, we realize that our worth isn't tied to others' opinions. It's measured by how fully we embrace our lives. The courage to bloom, not shrink, as the years pass, inspires others to do the same. Let society's expectations fall away and let your true self take center stage. It's your time to live boldly, freely, and authentically. Ultimately, living authentically requires courage and self-acceptance. It's about choosing your path unapologetically and ignoring the noise of judgment or societal constraints. The approval of others is fleeting, but the fulfillment of living in alignment with your values is timeless. The lack of recognition. One of the most painful experiences as we age is the feeling of being overlooked, of not being recognized for the sacrifices, contributions, and wisdom we've accumulated over a lifetime. It's not just the absence of gratitude in the moment, it's the slow, silent realization that those around us may no longer value the depth of our efforts and the weight of our experiences. This is most often felt within families. Perhaps you've dedicated decades to raising children, building a home, and being the steady force holding everything together. Yet, as time passes, the heartfelt thank yous become rare. Adult children, caught up in their own busy lives, may forget to pause and appreciate all you've done. Grandchildren, who once gazed up at you with admiration, may now see you as a distant figure, someone they visit out of obligation rather than genuine affection. This absence of acknowledgement can feel like an erasure of the very essence of who you are and the legacy you've worked so hard to build. The same can be true in professional or community settings. If your identity was tied to a career or your role in society, retirement or stepping back can feel like stepping into invisibility. The accomplishments you once took pride in, the impact you made, the lives you touched, seem to fade in significance as the world moves on without pause. But here's the truth. The value of your contributions does not diminish simply because others fail to recognize them. The work you've done, the love you've shared, the sacrifices you've made, these are the threads that have woven the lives of those around you. Their oversight doesn't erase your legacy. You are the keeper of your worth, and that worth is not determined by external validation. That said, it's okay to feel hurt when recognition is lacking. These feelings are valid, and it's okay to express them. A simple conversation like saying, "I'd love to share some stories with you about what life has taught me," can reignite connections. People aren't always intentionally dismissive. They may just be caught up in the pace of their own lives. Sometimes they need a gentle nudge to remember the richness of your experiences. Ultimately, the most important recognition comes from within. Honor yourself. Reflect on the journey you've walked, the challenges you've overcome, and the wisdom you've gathered. Celebrate your own achievements, even if others don't. Surround yourself with people who see you, who appreciate you, and who value the beauty of your life's work. Seek out meaningful connections with those who recognize and respect your contributions, not because they have to, but because they genuinely value who you are. You've lived a life of resilience and purpose, and your worth isn't tied to anyone else's acknowledgement. Recognize the strength, love, and lessons that have shaped your story. Celebrate them, because whether or not others see it, you are a testament to the quiet power of perseverance, and that is something no one can ever take away from you. Stop pleasing everyone. Embrace your true self. Throughout life, many of us fall into the habit of trying to please everyone around us. From a young age, we're taught to seek approval, to fit into molds designed by others, whether it's family, friends, or society. Over time, this need to gain acceptance becomes second nature. But as we age, something shifts. We begin to see this pattern for what it is: exhausting, unfulfilling, and ultimately unsustainable. For years, you may have prioritized the happiness of others, sacrificing your desires and needs in the process. But the truth is, this cycle of people-pleasing often leaves us feeling empty. It's a heavy weight to carry, and as the years pass, it becomes clear that the constant quest for approval no longer serves us. In fact, it's a barrier to living authentically and finding true fulfillment in our later years. At this stage in life, there's an opportunity for transformation, a chance to release the burden of trying to meet everyone's expectations and instead focus on your own happiness. The realization may come slowly, but it's liberating. The only person you truly need to please is yourself. Of course, breaking free from the people-pleasing mindset is not easy. It's a deeply ingrained habit, one often tied to fear, the fear of rejection, judgment, or being left out. But as you grow older, you come to understand that the people who truly matter in your life are those who love you for who you are, not for how well you cater to their needs. These are the relationships worth nurturing. Letting go of the need to please others doesn't mean becoming selfish. It's about finding balance, honoring your own needs and desires while still caring for those who matter to you. It's about saying yes to yourself more often and realizing that your happiness is just as important as anyone else's. This process might feel uncomfortable at first. You might feel guilty for saying no to requests or prioritizing your own well-being. But over time, you'll find that this shift allows you to live with greater freedom and authenticity. Instead of constantly trying to fit into someone else's idea of who you should be, you'll begin to embrace who you truly are. With this change comes a profound sense of liberation. No longer tied down by the weight of others' expectations, you're free to explore your passions, reconnect with your dreams, and live life on your terms. Whether it's pursuing a long-neglected hobby, traveling to a place you've always dreamed of, or simply taking time to rest and reflect, you can finally focus on what brings you joy. As you stop living for others, you'll find that your relationships become more meaningful. When you prioritize authenticity, you attract people who appreciate you for who you truly are, not for what you can do for them. These are the connections that bring real fulfillment, the ones built on mutual respect and genuine love. Setting boundaries is an essential part of this journey. It's not about shutting people out. It's about protecting your time, energy, and mental well-being. Learning to say no when necessary isn't an act of selfishness. It's an act of self-respect. And as you establish these boundaries, you'll notice a shift. The people who truly value you will respect them, while those who don't will naturally fade away. Ultimately, letting go of the need to please everyone is a powerful step towards self-discovery and happiness. It allows you to reclaim your life, focus on what truly matters, and live authentically. You deserve to spend your later years not chasing approval, but finding peace, fulfillment, and joy in simply being yourself. Reclaiming your true self. As we age, life offers us a profound opportunity, the chance to reflect, realign, and reclaim our true selves. The years spent pleasing others, seeking validation, and adhering to societal expectations may have shaped who we are, but they don't have to define our future. The beauty of growing older lies in the freedom to let go of what no longer serves us and embrace what truly brings us joy, peace, and fulfillment. Living authentically means prioritizing your happiness and well-being without guilt. It's about setting boundaries, pursuing passions, and forming meaningful connections with people who celebrate you for who you are. It's a shift from external validation to internal contentment, a journey toward living a life that aligns with your values and desires. Remember, the life you've built, the wisdom you've gained, and the challenges you've overcome are testaments to your resilience and strength. They deserve to be celebrated, not hidden or minimized. Letting go of people-pleasing doesn't mean turning your back on others. It means choosing to honor yourself, your time, and your energy while still fostering authentic relationships with those who matter. In these later years, the key to fulfillment lies not in how others perceive you, but in how deeply you embrace the person you've become. By focusing on living authentically, you can create a life rich with purpose, joy, and serenity, a life that reflects the truest version of you. Thank you for joining me on this journey today. If this message resonated with you, share your thoughts in the comments and let me know how you're embracing your true self. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Golden Sage Wisdom for more empowering lessons and reflections. Together, we'll continue to explore the timeless truths that guide us toward living our best lives. Until next time, take care and stay true to yourself.